What is up, Retro Maniacs? My name is Mike. His name's Joe. His name's EP, and we're here to talk about cards. This week, we are going to take charge of each of the three major card companies for one day, and we get to make one decision about that company. I'm going to let you kick it off, Joe. We're going to start with Upper Deck. You are now in charge of Upper Deck. What are you going to do? What's your one thing you're going to do?
Upper Deck, aka the coolest company out of the three. To be honest, I mean,
clearly,
we love Upper Deck. So what I'm doing is I'm saying any of the folks that we have under exclusives, we already lost LeBron, right? I think, did we lose Tiger? We're close to losing Tiger. Maybe we lost Tiger. We're not sure. We still have some basketball players. We have Jordan. Bye. Gone. I'm getting rid of all of the exclusives that are not hockey related. Hockey or any of the other ancillary things that we have. I am locking in hockey. I am making sure that Fanatics in their just Tasmanian devil style of taking over this hobby, just eating everything and taking everything. I'm making sure I'm locking down hockey. I'm signing all the major stars, retired or current, to exclusives. I'm not wasting money on Jordan because I can't. I'm not making Jordan cards anyway. The Jordan cards I'm making, no one cares about. They're metal cards that people don't collect anymore. I mean, why even have Jordan if you're not going to use him properly, right? So get rid of all of the folks that I have exclusives with and just focus on what I have. Hockey and Marvel and things like that. Make sure I have those locked down. AEW, I believe they also have locked down those properties because that's where you're making your money. You're not making your money off of Michael Jordan. Who cares who he signs with, right? You're not putting Michael Jordan cards and autos and hockey products, right? Move on past all that stuff and just focus on what you do now and what you do well now. And that, I believe, is the hockey, the Marvel, AEW, some of those non-sports things. That would be what I suggest. And imagine the money they would save if they just got rid of the Jordan thing by itself. But jettison all those non-necessities, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. I was thinking about doing hockey myself for Upper Deck, but yeah, I mean that's like they need to have that. That is their niche right now, right? So
yep.
They do, and they have some big name hockey players that have come into the league, and they really could just lock that all up, keep Fanatics out. I mean, I think all collectors should want them around and keeping Fanatics out of it, because I don't know what's going to happen to Panini once they lose their licenses. I don't think they're going to be much of a player anymore, and Upper Deck is pretty much the only quote unquote competition Fanatics even has, and we all love Upper Deck. I mean, they've put out so many cool products in years gone by. Sad that they don't have the other licenses, but yeah, keep hockey, keep Marvel, and do some great things, but get stuff out a little faster.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. My Fleer Ultra Wolverine just got pushed again to August. Son of a bitch. Come on, Upper Deck.
I hope that wasn't your suggestion, EP. I shouldn't be talking about stuff.
Nope, it is not. But it's kind of interconnected. So mine is a little bit of a long play. So my thinking is form a relationship with Pokemon, the people that make Pokemon. Create a Marvel Masterpieces style card for Pokemon cards that is not the collectible card game. But the long play is then you leverage your relationship with Disney and Marvel and create a new CCG that is Marvel. There's one that came out in 2023 that's made by a company that I don't recognize, but leverage that into a Marvel CCG. What I think what happens is, in my opinion, with Pokemon, why a lot of CCGs don't work is you can't, if you do like Star Trek, everybody wants to be like Captain Kirk or Captain Picard, right? If you try to do something like The Matrix, everyone wants to be Neo. So that's very difficult. Where with Pokemon, everybody on every side wants to. Everybody can have a Charizard and a Pikachu and an Eevee and all the different characters. So with Marvel, I feel like there are so many so many crossovers with a lot of characters where they have the bad characters and then the good characters and that sort of stuff that I feel like it works for Marvel. And there are also so many characters just in general across the board that I feel like you can get in. You're okay playing Magneto for a round because he's a cool bad guy, and there's a lot of cool bad guys and cool good guys and that sort of stuff. So I feel like Marvel should work for a CCG. So there you go.
I like it.
Before even that, I love the idea of making a non-playable, just a collector set. Mike, we
Pokemon.
both ran, we both ran into some of the Topps ones I found in some old collections, and I know you did as well. They're still extremely collectible. People love those Topps cards.
And they have been those since like 2011 or 2012 too, right?
Yeah. I think it might have been even later than that or earlier than that they stopped making them. So if Upper Deck could do that by itself is a great idea, and then throwing in using your IP with Marvel to create something different, I love it. That's a great idea.
Now, didn't Upper Deck used to print Pokemon? Am I imagining?
Oh, they might have. I'm not sure.
I thought they had like some kind of an agreement with Pokemon, but then they were having trouble with stuff getting out the back door, and Pokemon pulled their license from them. So it might be a hurdle to that. I could be completely wrong, but it's one of those things.
If you know, comment below.
Listen, please let us know if you comment below.
Yeah,
but I feel
also
like it wouldn't be in my head. I think John at UConn was telling me that. So.
But that one day when I'm there, that my one day in charge, I'm going to fix that relationship. I'm going to make sure that they're good. So
yeah, good to hear. Okay, my idea for Upper Deck is a short-term cash grab. I'm sorry. Yes, Joe, they don't do anything with Michael Jordan, but I'm going to change that. I want a super high-end, like National Treasures, flawless kind of Michael Jordan set.
Ooh.
I know they can't use the NBA logos, but we've seen with Fanatic stuff that you can kind of very strategically make cards without the logo. Like I want back in Michael Jordan's heyday, the 90s stuff, like the photos from them, him there, signed stuff, buy actual game memorabilia that you can make memorabilia pieces with, like do it all up kind of like as a tribute to Michael Jordan's career, like The Last Dance for cards kind of thing. And then Joe, then they can get rid of him, but go out with a bang. Go out with a bang. But I would love, like, it kind of comes from the same place, Joe. Like, they don't do anything cool with Michael Jordan, and like, it's ridiculous. Like, you have the greatest player of all time in basketball, and you don't do much of anything. I don't want to see a 60-year-old Michael Jordan in the picture. Like I want to see the guy I remember playing, and I feel like they could do a really cool set of him with all kinds of really cool stuff in it. Gonna cost them a little money, but I'm pretty sure
they'll get the return on it for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this works with licenses and stuff. So you can't do the Bulls thing. Team USA, can you do that? I mean, what's like
if you have the license, they could.
Maybe do a Team USA. I don't know if they can still do UNC. I mean, like there's ways to get around the license thing. And my suggestion comes from a place of they're not using them. So you take over day one, Mike. I'll take over day two. Right. So
perfect.
Day one, we'll jettison him day two. We'll make money on both sides of it. Yeah.
Now, how about I do like 8 to 12 and you do 12 to 4 on one day?
Okay. Can't work the whole day. That's just
it. I don't work 8 hour day.
4 hour max.
Was the dunk, the famous dunk from the foul line? Is that's like a profile shot, right? I don't know.
Yeah, you could probably do that without showing the logos.
Like you don't need to, like there are probably tons of photos like that where you don't need to show the uniform at all, but you can still use that photo like that. Like that is such a great idea. I love that so much. If you didn't bring it up, like I was going to bring it up, like the amount of money they'd have to spend to get a bunch of game use stuff or whatever, but the hobby would go bananas over it. Like they would spend so much. Think about the breakers. Oh my gosh, they would make so much freaking money.
Oh yeah, and I think they did something similar, not Upper Deck, but I think Topps did something similar with Jeter, didn't they? EP, like, did they have a captain's collection or something like that?
They do like little things every year with like a certain players, that sort of stuff too. But like Jordan obviously ramps that up like ridiculously because of the.
I have like the Mickey Mantle from Topps too. So
they
did
like a Julio Rodriguez set was like just Julio Rodriguez set like a when he his like rookie year or whatever too. So they do that occasionally, but nothing along the lines of what Mike is envisioning, I think, which is, I mean, again, that would be, I would never get into a break or afford it.
I'm not going to be able to afford it, but I'm just running the company. I'm going to rake in the money. All right. Next on the list, Joe, Panini has called you up. Like, Joe, come fix everything in one day with one idea.
This is the one I'm most excited about. Okay. We talked about Upper Deck and what one of the big things that they have in their repertoire is Marvel. Guess what's going to overtake Marvel soon?
All right.
DC.
Lorcana?
No. DC.
I don't know who has the license to DC. I haven't seen DC cards, legitimate cards made in a long time. James Gunn has taken over DC. He took the Guardians of the Galaxy, a bunch of people no one had ever heard of, and made it into one of the greatest franchises within one of the greatest franchises, right? He's going to do the same thing with DC. These superheroes you've never heard of, the guy who's taken over the Superman role, whoever he gets for Batman, it's not going to be a major star. He's going to make them into major stars. Remember, the folks that were in the Guardians weren't major stars until they became Guardians. The people in Marvel, with the exception of like Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans wasn't a major star. Chris Hemsworth wasn't a major star. I think he's going to do to DC for DC what he did with the Guardians and what the MCU is doing. So if I'm Panini, do what Upper Deck did. Make DC cards in the vein of sports cards. What are some of the coolest inserts that Upper Deck does for Marvel cards? Jambalayas, EX,
Metal Universe, period.
Metal Universe, Fleer Ultra. Sure, they've done Fleer Ultra in the past when it was actually owned by Fleer, but come on, you're not telling me how cool would Flawless DC be? How cool would National Treasures DC be? How cool would Clearly Donruss DC be? Like, there's so many cool things you could take and make DC cards out of, and you do it with the comic book side of it, because for the longest time DC was way more popular than Marvel in terms of comic books. And as those movies get more hype, it's going to draw the comic books into getting more hype, which means it's going to draw the cards into getting more hype. I think I wanted to give this one to Upper Deck, but I didn't know what the rules were because they have Marvel. There might be an exclusivity thing. I'm giving it to Panini. I think it'd be really, really cool to have Panini make non-sports cards in the vein of sports cards.
I love it. Does Upper Deck make anything in Marvel that would be similar to like Flawless? They make anything that high of a product?
I don't think they do. I mean, they have like a couple $100. Yeah, they have like what was the one they just came out with, Mike? The Flare. They just came out with Flare, which is probably one of the more higher end. And they do Marvel Masterpieces, which is their high end. If you can do something even beyond that, non-sports people, they'll buy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
because that stuff is crazy. Yeah.
I was gonna say not even that. Like, you think about there are some really cool optic insert sets in my opinion, and then also like I feel like they're, and then like Legacy, like you could do like you could look at like
Batman Downtown. Could you imagine Batman with Gotham?
With Gotham in the background? Yeah.
Batman Kaboom.
Joker with Arkham Asylum behind him. Like, it's so much cool stuff. Definitely. Like, they could do Legacy Collection and have like the art from like the older art from older books and stuff. Like, there's a lot of different stuff they could do. That
Chronicles would be a lot of fun too. I mean, that's one of our favorites anyway. I mean, the wrestling stuff was pretty cool. Imagine like a Chronicles DC. I mean, all of it. I love all of it. I would buy it. I'd be pre-ordering it for sure. It'd be expensive out the ass, but I think it'd be worth it.
I'm all in. I think that's a fantastic idea. All righty, P. What are you gonna do with Panini?
I was afraid that Joe's
gonna close them down.
Right. Shut it down.
No, I'm here to help him, man. I'm here to help him. I'm just gonna. But my first advice would be, listen. I'm going to give you an idea for a product. don't gouge the buyers. Don't gouge people. Don't charge $800 a box. You can't do that. I won't allow it. I'm only here for one day. You're gonna charge them $800 a box when I leave. It's fine. It's fine. So shift to non-sports. Like they don't. I don't think they do. Do they do any non-sports whatsoever? Do they do any like licensed products like
Not
that?
that I'm really aware of. They may, but it's not anything.
It's mostly
really that
Rittenhouse and
popular.
Upper Deck. Yeah,
Mostly
Rittenhouse,
Upper
Upper
Deck,
Deck are the
and
big ones.
Zoic, I think, are the major ones.
There are a lot of properties out there that I think that would work, and I came up with a couple of them that I'm just going to throw out here quick. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know they had those cards way back in the day, but there's a new movie coming out, a new series coming out on Paramount. Or I saw a commercial for it.
Yeah.
Looks pretty fun, actually. It's a cartoon, but like that is a property that has lived for a long time, as a very strong, very very strong fan base, in my opinion. Same thing with like Godzilla. You think about the amount of movies that have been made, and I just watched -1 yesterday. It came out in 2023, just an amazing movie. But there, you think about the people that have been involved in that, especially with the Hollywood movies that came out, like the legendary films that came out. There's like Bryan Cranston and
Scarlet Witch was in that.
There's a bunch of decent name people, and then also you got the people from like the historic ones, which I'm sure the Godzilla fan base has a lot of fans from like the Japanese actors and stuff like that from back in the day. I think that would be a really good one. There's also the Cornetto trilogy, which I love, from Edgar Wright. It's a Hot Fuzz and all those movies, and almost all those. I'm guessing all those actors are probably still alive. You could definitely do some cool stuff with that. And then the last one, Fast and the Furious, which is a franchise that is beloved by a lot of people. That a lot of stars in it. It seems like they have new cameos and new people every movie, and that'd be a lot of a really fun one, I think. So there we go.
And fantastic. Like, yeah, imagine the Fast and John Cena autographs, Dwayne Johnson autographs, Vin Diesel. Like, holy cow.
And
that would be fantastic.
Knowing Panini, could you imagine like Paul Walker cut autos?
Right.
Like things like that. I think they would go out and do dual auto, a Paul Walker cut auto with a Vin auto. I mean, how cool would that be?
Car pieces, like something car pieces.
Right.
Like there's so much they could do. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Knowing Panini, though, after about the first year, they'd go to a junkyard somewhere randomly and just pull a fender off of some random car that has nothing to do with the movie. So,
That's true. Yeah. I love it. Great idea, EP. Okay. I've been saving this one up. You know me. I'm a big fan of Pacific. This is going to be a short-term thing because they're going to lose their football license and their basketball, but they still have it. And, I got this card on eBay this week. I posted a picture of that on Twitter, and it got 10,000 views. Like, Pacific had some of the greatest insert cards ever made, and people see that and go, wow. Yet Panini has done almost nothing with the Pacific IP that they have, and I don't understand why. So, yes, this one might be a little personal to me, and I might be doing it for my own gratification, but I want them to put out a real set of like Pacific cards and have inserts in them that are die cut and interesting and different than everything else
ornaments
they have out there. Yes, do stuff. Make them, if you can make a downtown and a Kaboom be a very collectible and very, wanted thing in the hobby, tell me you can't make an insert like this and make people want it. Come on. Yeah. Obviously, the Pro Bowl's not around in anywhere near the same form of what things were before. It's a shame, but use some ingenuity. Use some of that. We don't care. We're going to try it. We're Pacific. Like, they weren't afraid to innovate, weren't afraid to try something new. So let's try it. What do you have to lose at this point? Right. You don't have a lot to lose. I think you give them an insert card like this and you make it a case hit, like people will love that card. There is a whole generation of collectors that don't know what this stuff is like because you've never given it to them. You're happy to sit there and do your chromium cards and your shiny cards, everything in that same little safe zone. step outside it, do something a little different, do something new, and let these collectors enjoy the cards that we had that, like, all these years later, people still go and look at and go, wow, they did that when? Yeah. So that I'm just turning Panini into Pacific for a day.
And we say it all the time. If you're not going to innovate, that's fine. But do the cool stuff that you have the IP for, right?
They have so much that they don't use.
I was watching a break recently. I wish I could remember the product, but they had the old school, like 95 Pacific design, like the insert, the shine, really, really sharp. Those were the nicest looking cards in that whole break. Like, it wasn't even close, too. I really wish I could remember the product.
I think it's Zenith, isn't it?
Is it Zenith? Yeah, okay. I think you're right.
Yeah.
And it just, those were the nicest looking cards in the whole set. And it's basically just them putting out a little bit more shine on some Pacific cards. So yeah, I completely agree. And if you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it? I mean, there's no reason.
Running out of time.
Right. Exactly. And make people want you to stay with the licenses. Like, make people be like, oh damn, this is really cool. I wish they still had the licenses, because then maybe someday there would be a fight to get them back to you.
There's a reason why people want late 1990s inserts now, and it's because everybody was doing what Pacific did it best, but like everybody was trying to make the craziest, the best inserts all the time. And this is like Mike, I love this so much. This is a perfect opportunity for Panini to do that. Just go wild. Like I make a joke every once in a while about making t-shirts. I want a t-shirt that says "Go wild like Panini, like Pacific in the late 1990s." Like that. Like just go wild. Just be as wild as them. They just be as wild as them. Like just be,
the shirt can be die cut. We'll make the shirt die cut too.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Yes.
And Joe, we could make die cuts of the DC characters.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Could you imagine
synergy? Look at that synergy.
The IP with some of the non-sports stuff.
I know.
Freaking awesome.
Be fantastic. Awesome. Okay. Third and final company, Topps Fanatics. Joe, what are you doing? Gonna make everything have a free puppy?
Well, I don't want to steal EP's answer and just say they're doing everything awesome. I have no notes, right? EP, spoiler alert for yours.
I got another one. It's fine. That's fine.
So this is the most boring out of all three of them, because again, they control everything, right? So my answer is kind of boring too. Make everything actual memorabilia. Everything. Like, it's the simplest thing. You have all of these contracts with players associations. You have all of these individual players signing. You make the stuff for the games. I mean, like, I don't understand why you can't have everything game used. Like, everything needs to actually be game used. I was going to say everything needs to be on card autos. That might be a little too far. It might be a little too difficult. I don't think making every patch in your product game use, I don't think that's difficult at all at this point. How many baseball games are there a year? How many football, even preseason games? Patrick Mahomes doesn't play in the preseason, but he wears the jersey. Get that, how many games is there in a basketball season with playoffs and preseason and the in-season tournament and all that other bullshit? I mean, there's opportunities for you. If you're going to make patches that are just napkin patches anyway, have them game you, at least have something associated to it. So again, it's not a flashy, like we're talking about bringing Pacific back and DC and stuff like that. It's not flashy, but I really think collectors, it may not reflect it in the value, which is a shame. But every time you see someone rip something, not breakers, because they're going to say everything's awesome no matter what, because they want to sell spots. But when you see actual collectors breaking a product and look, oh, of course it's not game used. They're upset. When it actually is game used, like some of the flawless basketball stuff is, they're excited about it. They're happy about it. So it's a simple fix. It should be for Fanatics. If no other company, it should be for Fanatics, be a simple fix. Make everything game used or game worn, I suppose you could say.
That was what I was going to suggest. Like they can literally supply them with as many jerseys as they need, or as many uniforms as they need to change 20 times a game. Like just, why not do that? Like literally they could do that. That is their one of their superpowers, right?
Yeah,
Why not
absolutely.
And I know it's an added cost, but I would be fine with using that stuff for their higher end product and having it be more of a bigger chase in the lower end product.
Yeah.
So like not everything has to have 20 of those come out of a case. We could cut those down, make them worth more in the lower end product, and then other higher end products that you're making for the breakers and stuff like that, you can afford to have them in it because you're charging a lot more money for it. So yeah, I would love to get away from the just throwing a million of them in because they're there. Like in wrestling, you're always like, you're trying to lead the fans where you want them to go in a story, and like in making a movie, that's what you're trying to do. Like in making cards, you can kind of do that too. Like you can make them mean something by not overexposing them and making them worth a little more, and then you don't have to also have a million of them in your product. So I mean, I'm always in for game used. Always.
Like you're saying, Mike, that's a perfect analogy, because downtowns, if they came one per box, no one would want them.
Exactly.
They're not great looking cards. Like, let's be realistic, but they're case hits, and they're very, very rare to pull out of retail, but they're still available. You can still get them, but they're hard. So when someone gets them, it's like a, holy shit, I just pulled it downtown. Like, you could do that with these case hit type style game used patches for sure.
Right.
Make them actually mean
cool
something.
Patches, right? Really cool, like patches or with stitching and all, something really to get excited about. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, EP. Do you have anything to make Topps Fanatics?
I don't have any notes at all. Topps is just they're just doing everything great. So no, I mean, here's the deal. 2026 is when they have all the licenses, I think, right? So
I think so, yeah.
So 2026, like I'm going to take over in 2026, or that's probably 2025 to ramp up to it. But you need to flex your muscles. You need to show the hobby that you give a crap. I want a product that is something we've never seen before. I don't want another black chrome or a cosmic chrome or a sonic chrome. Give us something we have not ever seen before, a base set, something that we haven't seen before. Preferably for me, it's something that is inexpensive, something that's affordable. But give us something we haven't seen before, with at least one insert set with a technology we haven't seen before, and at least one insert set that is a throwback to like a late 1990s type of insert. Just give me that product. That's all I want.
Affordable, I like it. Please. I would love to see something
across all three
totally brand new that we haven't seen before by a major manufacturer. I'm all in for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's one of my biggest fears. Not just I've said about the price. I don't need to go on about that. But one of my biggest fears is we're just going to get the same stuff we've been getting from Topps. And I said this, I think it was one of our hot take videos. I'm like, I'm just not impressed by most of their products. Like, nothing really excites me other than the nostalgia of Topps Chrome, right? So
we want Chrome and Finest, but
Chrome and Finest nostalgia, sure, it's going to get me. But yeah, I mean, everything else is like, So yeah, put people in the room, say, don't leave this room until you come up with something cool. You have the rest of the day, just crack your brains again, crack your heads against the wall to try and figure something out. Because
you're the biggest player in town. You have the most money. Just show it. Flex your muscles. Make it happen.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay. Here we go. I'm taking over Topps. Michael Rubin's a big sports guy, pushes everything sports. I know they have Star Wars, but they really need to develop non-sports. And this is a running theme I think we've had throughout this video. Like, I think all the companies could do better, and there's a lot of IP out there, but I'm going to specifically, because I have mentioned this before, you want to grow the hobby. I feel like there is untapped potential in doing pop culture cards. You see the popularity of Leafs product that they put out. Topps and Fanatics could do that product 100 times better than Leaf can do it right now. Like, Michael Rubin has a lot of connections with like hip hop artists and rappers and stuff like that. Like knows a lot of people. I feel like they could do a huge, imagine a set where you could get like a Taylor Swift autograph, or Victor Wembanyama, throw him in that
with Travis Kelce.
With
You
Travis
imagine
Kelce,
Yeah.
and have rappers in it, like, which have been horribly underrepresented in our hobby forever. Like, you have to go back to like Yo MTV Raps cards. Like, come on. Like, I just think there is a huge potential out there for pop culture cards. This stuff is insanely popular at all levels. People are into that. You see Troy at the card show yesterday. He sold a ton of that stuff. Yes, he has all that. That is hugely popular stuff. People love pop culture, love the stars of pop culture. Just imagine the set that Fanatics could do, and they could do multiple sets. They could do it at multiple levels. I think it's an untapped market, and you want to 10x the hobby. Why don't you just stop looking at only sports and get into other areas that you're not representing now?
As everyone from Leaf is like, shut up, dude.
Shut up, Mike.
Shut
what
up.
are you doing? I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I think Leaf, every time Pop Century comes out, it's an event, right? Like, people are like, holy shit, who's the 8-way auto in this one, And like you said, Fanatics not only could get even bigger stars, they could make nicer cards. I mean, the Leaf cards aren't really that nice, and they put the stickers for the wrong picture and the wrong inscription and things like that. The quality control isn't great. Fanatics, I'm not saying it's awesome quality control, but it's way better than Leafs, I'm sure. So yeah, I think that's a really good call.
Yeah, we love Rittenhouse, right? Like we love a lot of companies, but like if you think about from the Breakers perspective and stuff like that too, like there's going to be way more excitement over a Topps Star Trek product or a Topps can you imagine a Tony Hawk autograph on a Topps card?
I mean,
that would just be out. I mean, the stuff would be off the charts, right? That is such a good idea, Mike. I love it.
Okay, well there you go. We solved all their problems in one day. 1 hour or less. A little over a half hour. So,
hour, yeah. We're good.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you have any ideas, let us know about ours. Dumb? You like them? Would you buy the products we're putting out? We're doing a good job. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. You let us know. But either way, we'll be back next week. Take care, guys.
See ya, boys.
Yeah.